wise ones. This week we explore Skipton and we discover a potential really big boat issue. Good morning. Hello. And good morning to you too. Yes. So tell me about Skipton. Is it a good place to be? What should I see? Excellent. Okay, more breakfast? This is the Springs branch of the Leeds-Liverpool Canal, also known as the Thanet Canal. It leaves the main canal in Skipton and it runs to some loading wharfs near Skipton Castle, where it was used to load limestone from local quarries into boats for onward shipment. It was opened in 1773 and extended in 1794. Lord Thanet, who was the owner of Skipton Castle in the late 18th century, owned some limestone quarries near the castle. When the constructors of the Leeds-Liverpool Canal were building their main line, he asked them to alter its route to better serve his quarries. They refused. And so, on the 10th of May 1773, he obtained the Skipton Canal Act 1772, which authorised the construction of a branch canal to serve this purpose. Lord Thanet financed the canal himself, and it was constructed mainly on his own land. Its alternative title of the Springs branch comes from the fact that the original act was for a canal from a place called Spring, lying near Skipton Castle. The branch was built quickly as it was only about a third of a mile long. It left the Leeds-Liverpool in the centre of Skipton and it ran around the back of the castle to some loading chutes, into which limestone from the quarries was tipped. In 1785, the Leeds-Liverpool Canal Company took over the lease of the canal. In 1794, a 240-yard extension was constructed to a new loading dock, which was linked to the quarries by tramway. See this really high stone wall along the canal? It had to be partly rebuilt after a flash flood in 1908 brought down torrents of water and mud. The overflow from the canal here was built shortly after to try and make sure that didn't happen again. Thousands of tons of limestone were once carried on the Springs Canal. Lime was in great demand during the Industrial Revolution. It was used in iron smelting, provided a fertiliser to improve sheep pastures, and was made into mortar and plaster for the use of house building. By the time the Leeds-Liverpool Canal was completed in 1816, Skipton, an important agricultural market centre, was growing rapidly as an industrial town. And that is where it ends. Cool. Let's see where this goes. Lovely. What a place to live. Beautiful. This morning we're taking a very, very short cruise, we're talking 5 minutes, into Skipton Basin. See these bubbles in the water? That is an otter. I thought I was finally going to see my first one. I've been waiting 2.5 years. But no, it didn't bob up. But at least I saw its bubbles. One day. We are going 100 yards by Narrowboat. My generator needs servicing and I've been chatting to a guy called Ian who has worked on boats and owns Pennine cruisers for years and years. So what he doesn't know about boats isn't worth knowing. So I said to Ian about my batteries that keep venting hydrogen and setting my alarms off. And he said, oh, what you need is a timer on your fan. So he's going to fit that for me when he's done the generator service. Fantastic. I love it when there's a simple way to sort out a problem. We're now entering Skipton Basin. These warehouses have been here since the canal was built. Slow down a bit. Not that I can very easily. Right, we're going to go around this corner, When we turn right here, we've entered the Springs arm of the Leeds-Liverpool Canal. It's a little tiny bit of the canal that goes up to Skipton Castle. Pennine cruisers have day boats. You can either go on a 30-minute day trip or a longer trip, or you can take a day boat out by yourself. They do everything. And Ian also owns the Boathouse Bar, which is a fab place to go and drink. Ticks all my boxes anyway. It's a beautiful sunny day. I'm leaving the centre of Skipton and mooring just on the outside, because that way I can get away from all the tall buildings and I can get a bit of sun on Wattway. Yay! Putting the washing out and then going to have a look at a place called Niffany, with a view to seeing if I can moor Wattway there for a few days. We shall see. Little swing bridge coming up. Hopefully it's not too busy with traffic. Skipton's Mills. Swing bridge done and dusted. That's called Airville Park. That's going to be a good place to go and explore. Now I'm heading this away to see if I can get some sun on my roof. Not too far out of Skipton. I still want to be able to get there and do a bit of Christmas shopping and what have you. But just a bit away from the Christmas revellers is the best way to describe it, I should think. It's not been bad, it's just been noisy. A few people excitedly knocking on the roof of my boat at 2 in the morning. I'd rather be away from that sort of thing, really. Makes Charlie woof. I'm going to wait till I've got past these boats, and hopefully at the end of the line there's going to be a little spot just for me. Double pinned. What a lovely spot. Little bit of sun. It's about as much as I can hope for in winter. Yay. Right then, cup of tea time. How are we doing, little dog? You all right? You approve? Good. Key out. Frog off. Tiller off. We are done. Look at this tree. It's got lots of things growing in it. Balls of something. I thought they were nests, but they're not. They're kind of balls of something. Anybody any ideas? Today we're going to go for a little walk along the canal, and then we're going to go up a hill to have a look at Skipton. That's what I call a canal building. I wonder if these used to be stables and a great big chimbley. Wow. I love it when it gets still on the canal side. This is Skipton, a small town in North Yorkshire. In the 7th century, Anglo-Saxon settlement infiltrated the north. Skipton is likely to have been formed in this period. We are off for a dog walk. Charlie and her very new sister. Hey, Fig! Fig is a collie Bernese Mountain Dog cross. And even though she is huge, she's not even 5 months old yet. In 1085, there was a great survey of England compiled by William I called the Domesday Book. Skipton has an entry known as Skiptone or Sheep Farm, and being land of the king. In 1130, there is the first documentary reference to a castle at Skipton. In 1204, market rights were granted for Skipton by King John. In 1266, Skipton was rated as a borough rather than a village, as it possessed a significantly large population and a fair proportion of it engaged in industry, trade, a market and a court. In 1292, Edward I stayed for a week in Skipton Castle on his way to Scotland. In 1310, the first mill was built in Skipton, called High Corn Mill. In 1308, Skipton Castle was granted to the royal favourite Peter de Graveston. But 2 years later, in 1310, the castle was handed over to Robert de Clifford by Edward II. In 1318, the Scots sacked Skipton, but the castle was spared damage. In the 1400s, Earl Clifford sided with the House of Lancaster in the War of the Roses. In 1548, Skipton Grammar School was established on a site on the east side of Skipton. In 1597, there was a charter granted to Skipton, sanctioning the holding of a fair every second Tuesday from Easter to Christmas for the sale of livestock. In 1660, Skipton hosted the first national general meeting of the Quakers, and in 1764, John Wesley came to Skipton to preach. In 1773, the first leg of the Leeds-Liverpool Canal opened, Skipton to Bingley, and that signalled the onset of the Industrial Revolution in Skipton. An early morning stroll along the side of the Leeds-Liverpool Canal. Lovely. Charlie, come. You're so cute. Good morning, Swan. Cafe will be open soon when I get back to the boat. Everywhere you look in Skipton, there's always a great big hill looming over you. It's stunning. I love these streets of terraced houses in Skipton that come right up to the towpath. This is High Corn Mill. This timber watermill is made from elm, which was cut locally in the woods that we're about to go and walk in, Castle Woods. So on this morning's walk, Kate and I, Fig and Charlie, met up with a really lovely lady who lives in a van, and she's got a fully grown Bernese Mountain Dog. It was nice to see what Fig was going to grow into. Oh, goodness me, I don't think Kate's going to fit her into her house. She is learning manners. Skipton Castle Woods history dates back to over 1,000 years, and they were used as a hunting ground during medieval times, as well as a working wood in the industrial age. The woods sit in the very heart of Skipton town centre. The woods, once known as Old Park, would have influenced the original decision to build a castle here. The woods provided many of the necessities essential for survival during the castle's early existence, including water, fuel, building materials, fishing and hunting. During the 18th and 19th centuries, the woods provided timber, building stone, and most importantly water to feed and power the town's woolen, cotton and sawmills. Later, the woodland became a Victorian pleasure ground, a place to take in the air and promenade, especially after church on a Sunday. More recently, some of the woodland was planted with quick-growing softwoods to meet the national demand for timber during and between the two world wars. Hey up, little dog. Yeah, ducks. I've left all the food on the boat. I didn't know you were here. Sorry about that. This is what happens when a puppy steps into water, not realising she can't walk on it. She's a very, very excitable girl now.
Oh God.
Don't go in there. Don't do it again. Come on. This is Ella Beck, the powerhouse for all the mills in Skipton in the 18th and 19th century. We're going on a little bit of an adventure. We're taking a trip in my ex-husband Gavin's car via a cheese shop, through Yorkshire and into Lancashire, because we're visiting family in the city of Lancaster. Then I'm coming back to my boat to get all packed up and ready to go home for Christmas. This is the Courtyard Dairy, specialist cheese peoples. And cheese, they do.
Actually, is this like a...
Now this is what I call a cheese shop.
You're going to be further.
You name the cheese and I'm sure you'll be able to find it here. It smelt fantastic. Best thing is, you get a little taste of anything you want. After buying copious amounts of cheese, it was back in the car and onwards through Yorkshire to Lancaster. The county of Lancashire. Welcome to the city of Lancaster at Christmas. Through Sir Simon's Arcade. Keep going, Charlie. So after a quick family visit, it was back to the boat. When I got back to Otway, I noticed an issue with the plastic that surrounds the edges of the solar panels. The plastic that's around the roof has, I don't know, contracted or expanded or something, lifted off and it actually has lifted all of the paint. And I'm getting lots of water underneath, which means my roof is going to be going rusty. This corner is just starting. I'm a bit concerned I'm going to end up with a really rusty roof and water coming in. So I've sent this video to Tim the boat builder and we shall see what happens. I'll keep you posted.